welcome to the latest episode of the SCU show. I'm your host, SCU, episode number 66. We took last week off because there wasn't really much to talk about, and so I just decided, hey, let's just get ready for this big week of SCU show we have for you. We have this episode, and of course we'll have our USFL preview show, so be sure to stay tuned to all of that. But let's start this episode. Unfortunately, we have to start this episode with some tragic, unfortunate news out of the NFL. 15th overall pick in the 2019 NFL Draft out of Ohio State, after setting all sorts of school records, eventually went to the Steelers. Dwayne Haskins was in South Florida training with the Steeler teammates when he was crossing the road and was struck and killed by an oncoming car. And this sends a message to us, ladies and gentlemen. This really just sends a message to everybody that life is just too short to be worrying about anything. But not only that, not only is life too short to be worrying about anything, and you guys should just live your life to the fullest. And if you think you're just thinking about doing something, just do it now. Because if you don't do it now, tomorrow may be one day too late. But it also tells us, if you have people that you're fighting with, if your family, your friends, or whoever it might be, a loved one, just get over it at this point. Just be done with it at this point. Life is too short to be holding grudges. We all need to love each other, one another. Because one day, we're not going to be here. So we need to love and appreciate each and every one of us. We all need to love and appreciate each other while we're still here. Because if we decide that one day we just want to reconcile, what if that one day comes too late? What if that person that you thought what if that person you were mad at all of a sudden just disappeared? What if they were gone and you never got that chance again to tell them how much you love them, how much you're sorry for whatever happened? It's not necessarily the case with Dwayne Haskins, but it's kind of a message to us. If you are angry at anybody, if you're going through any issues with anybody, talk it out. Tell them you love them. Tell them you're sorry. And that goes for both parties. Yeah, because that person, they're not going to be here forever. And if they're gone, and then if you decide then you want to make up and do all this stuff, it's already too late. So the message here, as we remember Dwayne Haskins, well, there's two lessons here. Two lessons. If you're going to do something, do it now, because tomorrow could be too late. And tell everybody that you love them and you're sorry. So that everybody that believes I might have something against them, or knows I have something against them, just want to let you know, I love you. And for whatever reason that we don't talk anymore, I'm sorry. And maybe one day, I will be able to fix those relationships that I have mended. Because tomorrow could be one day too late. Rest in peace, Dwayne Haskins. Forever missed by everybody. Rest in peace. I ask you now to join me in a moment of silence as we remember Pittsburgh quarterback and Ohio State quarterback, Dwayne Haskins. Thank you. Okay, let's get to the good stuff now. It's going to be kind of a short show, but we'll make sure I'll try and make it as long as I possibly can. So this was actually the only topic I had when I was planning last week's show. This is the only thing. I was like, oh, this is interesting, isn't it? I had a conspiracy theory about Aaron Rodgers. Well, I was literally at work. It was a Thursday. So a couple Thursdays ago, I was at work, and I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. Something's going on here with Aaron Rodgers. What is going on with Aaron Rodgers? He's sabotaging the Packers. That's what's going on here. That Jordan Love pick from 2020, that was obviously the straw that broke the camel's back. That was the turning point for Aaron Rodgers and his relationship with the Packers. Now, what am I talking about, right? What am I saying? Why am I thinking that Aaron Rodgers is sabotaging the Packers? He knew that Devontae Adams, his number one receiver, of his career, was leaving. He knew it. before he signed that big deal. He now has a 13.4% cap hit for the Packers. He now has no top receiver at all. Alan Lazard is now his top receiver. Marquez Valdes-Scantling is with the Chiefs. I just don't think Aaron Rodgers cares anymore. He just doesn't care. You know why I think that? Because he's going to retire probably after next year, maybe the year after. And he's going to leave the Packers in so much financial trouble. Like for such a long time. They're going to be over the cap for many, many years to come. It's crazy that he knew that Davante Adams was leaving. And instead of saying, hey, but I'll take a pay cut if you stay. Let's go win another Super Bowl. Let's go win your first Super Bowl, my second. Nah. Oh, you're leaving? Oh, that's cool, man. I'll see you later. I'm going to make my money. He just doesn't care. He's sabotaging Green Bay now because he's thinking to himself, oh, I'm going to make my money now, and then in 2 years when I'm gone, this team is financially in big, big trouble. You would think Aaron Rodgers would care more about winning, because that's the big criticism about Aaron Rodgers is he doesn't win enough. He's won one Super Bowl in his, 14, 15 years as the starting quarterback for the Packers? He's basically the next Brett Favre. He's won one Super Bowl with the Packers. One! That was 12 years ago, 11 years ago. Now it's just like, he just doesn't care anymore. He just doesn't care about winning. He really doesn't care. He clearly seems like he doesn't care about the Packers. I mean, he's sabotaging this team because he knows when he's gone, they're going to be in a lot of financial issues. They're going to be a bad team. Not as bad as Detroit or Chicago, maybe. Maybe Chicago will be a little better than the Packers. But once he's gone, he knows this team is in trouble without me. And he just doesn't care. He just wants his money. And that's the way it is with Aaron Rodgers. And that's how it is today in this world of the Packers. He is sabotaging this team. He's like, yeah, you guys are in trouble when I'm gone, and I just don't care anymore. This is what you get for picking Jordan Love in the first round. That's what you get. And, it doesn't matter, because I think the Vikings will win the division anyway. The Packers are going to be a second-place team. What are they going to be now? What if the Bears, they're building up little by little. What if the Bears take over that second spot? Is Aaron Rodgers going to care? I just don't think so. I think he's sabotaging the Packers. He doesn't care about winning anymore. He was going to get his money, and he's just going to leave. No, I don't blame him. I wouldn't say I'd be the same way, but money talks, right? A lot of people say money doesn't buy happiness. I beg to differ. But you know what else buys happiness? Winning. That's why I was going to come on here and blast Tyreek Hill if he went to the Jets over the Dolphins, because there was no way in hell he was going to win with the Jets. Thank God he went to the Dolphins. Aaron Rodgers, he just doesn't care about winning anymore. It's all about the money, and it seems to be also all about sabotaging the Packers. Crazy. Unbelievable. How do you know that your top guy of your entire career basically is leaving? You're just like, whatever, I don't care really anymore. I'll just give him my money and we'll figure it out from there. Figure what out? There's no Alan Lazard's top receiver. What's that going to do for you? Zadarius Smith is with the Vikings now. Your defense is falling apart too. I just don't get it. I would figure if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'd care more about winning than I care about the money. It just doesn't seem that way. Crazy stuff. Anyway, give me a second. I'll wipe my glasses here. So again, this is SCU show number 66. Took the last week off because that was the only topic I had on track for that episode. And now we have the NBA playoffs. We'll have the Bucks hosting the Bulls in the first round. The Celtics are waiting for their opponent as the recording of this video, as are the Heat, the Suns, and I believe the Grizzlies as well. But we do have the 2-3-6s, the 2-4-5 matchups. The Bucks Bulls, Raptors and the Sixers. The Nuggets are playing the Warriors, and the Jazz are playing the Mavs. So we'll go for that's it. I wanted to preview all 4 rounds, but I'm just like, forget it. Because by the time this podcast comes out, this episode of the SCU show comes out, it's going to be past the first day of playing rounds, and predicting the play rounds after the episode comes out after the play rounds are played doesn't make any sense. But we will talk a little NBA right now. Let's get into this. Memphis is the second best team, not only in the Western Conference behind the Phoenix Suns. They are the second best team in the NBA behind the Phoenix Suns. And I think we are not taking this team as serious as we should be. This is one hell of a team, obviously, like I just said. Second best team not only in the Western Conference, they are the second best team in the NBA record-wise. They were 20-2 without Ja Morant? That's amazing. Ja Morant is their star player, and they went 20-2 without him. Now that he's coming back, he's back in the lineup. The Grizzlies are obviously the number 2 seed behind the Suns, who I think are going to run away with the title this year. But we need to take Memphis much more seriously than we are. All I hear about is, this team means nothing. They're not going to make a run at all. And Ja Morant, he's not an MVP candidate. I mean, obviously he's not an MVP candidate because he hasn't played much of all season. He missed about 20-some-odd games. But Memphis is still such a great team. I wanted to come on this show and actually talked about how, and a little Boston bias here, I wanted to talk about how I was hoping for a Celtics-Grizzlies NBA Finals. We're not getting that. The Suns are going to be in the NBA Finals. Whether the Celtics make it or not is up to the Celtics. We'll have to see what happens there. But I did have the Grizzlies making a very deep playoff run. I think they are a very talented team. They're going to have a very bright future. So great. And I think we need to take them more seriously. We don't know who they're going to play in the first round because they're waiting for the play-in to be played. But even if it's the Clippers, I feel like the Clippers are going to be a great team. We'll get to that in a moment. Memphis they have such a bright future. Ja Morant is going to be a Hall of Famer. There's no question about it at this point. But people are still doubting the Memphis Grizzlies, and I just don't understand why. They're still a better team than the Jazz. I think the Jazz, Luka Doncic, he has 2,000 points, 1,000 assists, or whatever the heck it was. And he's MVP candidate. The Jazz are sub 500 on the road. Golden State's been without most of their guys all season. Steph Curry might even play the first round against the Nuggets. Denver's the 5th seed, or 6th seed. So they're not beating the Grizzlies in any matchup like that. T-Wolves, I don't know if T-Wolves in the East or West, but you get the point. Memphis Grizzlies are the second best team in the league. If the Suns weren't in the West, if the Suns were in the East, we would absolutely get a Suns-Grizzlies NBA Finals. And I'm not be surprised. I mean, I'll put it down right now. We are getting a Suns-Grizzlies Western Conference Finals, and that series is going 7 games. That's going to be a hell of a series. It's going to be amazing to watch. I cannot wait. And we really need to take the Grizzlies much more seriously than we are. Because this is a very talented team, and they're going to make a very deep run. Even if they play the Clippers are going to be, again, a great team. They might play 6-7 games against the Grizzlies, but the Grizzlies will come out on top over them, if that's the case. T-Wolves, I believe they're in the West, because they're playing the Clippers in the play-on round. T-Wolves have no shot against the Grizzlies. I think the Grizzlies would beat them in 5 games. Nuggets, they probably beat them in 5 games as well. The only team that can't beat in the West is the Suns. And the Suns are going to win the NBA title. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's take the Memphis Grizzlies much more seriously. I don't know the future of the Suns. Chris Paul might retire after this year if he wins the title. And if that's the case, we're going to be talking about Memphis in the NBA Finals in the 2022-2023 season. I'll be saying that all next year. Can't wait for that. And speaking of the Clippers, like I just said, so the Clippers have not have Kawhi Leonard all season. He hasn't played the whole year. He's probably not going to play this year. He had tore his ACL, I think, last offseason, or what is it? Maybe the end of last year. They were hoping he was going to be back in about January, February this year. It just didn't happen. But that wasn't the only issue with the Clippers. They also didn't have Paul George. Paul George was also out. So, the fact that this team, and Paul George came back in March, I think, maybe even April. The fact that this Clippers team made it into the play-in round, I believe they're the 10th seed, maybe the 9th seed, without their 2 guys, their top 2 guys, that says so much about the Clippers and their future. That says so much. Kawhi Leonard won a title with the Spurs, and then he led the Raptors to a title. Paul George, He's had so much success with not even with the Pacers, with Team USA. I mean, Oklahoma City Thunder thing. I mean, he had Russell Westbrook. It was a big mess there. But he still did his thing down in OKC as well. Now he's in LA. He's been back for a couple games. He's been dominating on the floor. He's been absolutely... His first game back, he scored 36 points. So you have him and Kawhi coming back next year, fully healthy. They're ready to go. The Clippers, that's going to be a hell of a team next year. I can't wait to watch them as well. Them and the Grizzlies, to be the top two teams in the West, depending on what happens with the Phoenix Suns. It's going to be a hell of a team next year there in LA. And we're not talking about the Lakers. The Lakers are blowing up at this point because LeBron and AD didn't work out. Russell Westbrook is still Russell Westbrook. I mean, Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard. Everybody talks about how that's the worst quote-unquote power team in NBA history. That Celtics team with, I think it was Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and whoever else, I think they'd like to have a talk. Because that team was really bad as well. Another team that's going to have a very bright future next year is the Nets. I talked about this last year as well. Brooklyn Nets are going to have such a great season. A great future next year. Anyway, KD's still KD. I mean, he's missed a couple games here and there, but he's been dominant. He's been obviously the thing holding the Nets together at this point. If Kyrie had just gotten his damn vaccine, he would have played all these home games for the Nets, and he would have done what he's doing now, dominating the floor. Just imagine having Kyrie for all your home games if you're the Nets. It would have been just so much better. And then James Harden, he did fine. I mean, look at what he's doing now with the Sixers. He's doing great with the Sixers now. There's a 3 seed. When he first got there, they won their first 5-6 games. None of this was Harden's fault with Brooklyn. He just got tired of the Kyrie drama, and who wouldn't be, right? Just get your freaking vaccine, Kyrie. God damn it. It's not that hard. So now you obviously, after the Harden trade with Ben Simmons, Kyrie was able to play home games at the end of the year. See how that worked out for him. He scored more games in their last game of the season against the Pacers than KD did. He had much better shooting game than KD did in their last game against the Pacers. And if Ben Simmons deals with his mental issues and clears or whatever the heck, he takes care of all that stuff, they're going to have Ben Simmons on the floor as well. He is a good player. He is a great player. He's a talented player. He's just not available. And if he's available next year for the Nets, you're going to have Kyrie, you're going to have KD and Ben Simmons. Not to mention whoever's on their backcourt. So the Nets, another team, they're going to give the Eastern Conference, which is much weaker now that LeBron's not in there, they're going to give the teams a run for the money. The Heat, the Celtics, the Sixers are the top 2 teams in the East right now. The Bucks, top 4 teams in the East. All 4 of those teams, the standings have been up and down with all 4 of those teams. I mean, I just went on the ESPN app last night, and I thought that the Celtics or the Sixers were going to be the 2 seed. It's Milwaukee. Milwaukee's the 2 seed. If I'm not mistaken, it might be the 3 seed, but I'm pretty sure Milwaukee jumped one of those teams for a higher spot. And I was like, what? Where is this coming from? Because that was a big surprise to me, because I saw that was the Sixers and Celtics tied among the top of the standings. Milwaukee right behind them, and all of a sudden, whoop, Milwaukee just jumped them. Like, wow. So if the Nets, if they can get KD, Kyrie, and Ben Simmons on the floor next year, they're going to be a threat in the Eastern Conference. And they're going to have a very good season, maybe even a good franchise moving forward. But you got to have all of them available at all times. Just got to have them all available. That's it. And the Nets are going to have a very bright future. Very excited to see what happens next season. And with that, we're done. This has been a short show, of course, like I said. But we got to what we needed to get to. Aaron Rodgers, being selfish. Don't blame him, but I don't like that he doesn't care about winning. The Grizzlies, we need to take them more seriously, ladies and gentlemen. They're the second best team in the league, not just in the West. They're the second best team in the league. And the Clippers and Nets both have bright futures. So that's that. Next week, obviously, we'll have big show for you. USFL week takeaways. Power rankings every week during the season. It's going to be great. I'm so excited for this for USFL season preview to come out. Be sure to subscribe to YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, rate us 5 stars everywhere. Wherever else you find your podcast, do let me know. I'm on Twitter at WritingFanatic2. And again, we're done. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. This has been episode number 66 of the SCU Show.